Let's talk about Amazon advertising, campaign structure, and setup. So there's a few principles that we always like to follow when setting up our campaigns. First and foremost, we like to have one campaign, one ad group, and one ASIN. Now, let's talk about why real fast, because I get a lot of questions around whether or not it's necessary to go this granular, but it's pretty easy to understand once you break down the mechanics of Amazon advertising structure. For one, all budget utilization is on the campaign level. So if you have 10 ad groups, your budget's on the campaign level and you cannot control how it's distributed across your ad groups. So if you have a $100 a day campaign budget in 10 ad groups, you don't know if ad group A is going to get $50 to spend or $5. We like to do one ad group and one campaign and one ASIN so I can maximize the lever I'm pulling with budget. If my campaign is doing really well, I increase the budget. If it's not doing as well and I still need to optimize, I'm going to decrease the budget while I dial in those bids. Nice. This gives me maximum control over my utilization. The next question I always get is it necessary to run one ASIN per campaign? The real answer is it depends on your variation setup. If you have multiple flavors in a variation, then you could probably run them all under one campaign. But if you have individual ASINs, we recommend segmenting them out so you can control your share of shelf. If you want to win all 3 placements at the top of the page, you need to be running individual campaigns that are really controlled by your targeting. So that's another reason why we like to run this setup. The third and final reason is it gives us ultimate control over reporting and budget distribution. We segment all of our campaigns by categorization, by strategy, which we'll get into next, and by ASIN so we can report on that performance. Now, the next big thing we recommend is segmenting those campaigns by strategy. So we create campaigns that are profitability focused, where our bid management is dialed strictly on a cost ROAS targets. We set up campaigns for organic rank focus, where we only run a certain match type, and our bid management is set up on impression share and winning the top of the page for maximum sales velocity. We have brand defense campaigns where we're only focusing on our branded terms, and we want to segment so that way we can control the percentage of our budget that's being used for these campaigns. We also have things like awareness for some of our video or custom image assets or store spotlight assets, and conquesting where we're focusing on winning market share for competitors. All of these are built into separate strategies, so again, we can report on them, but also control our budget. We can come to our brand during our QBR and say, hey, this quarter we're focused on sales growth and growing share of voice. So we're going to shift our budget to be focusing on more of the organic rank and brand presence campaigns and taking some budget away from our brand defense campaigns or our profitability campaigns, right? Our levers and our setup allows us to have utmost control over that budget utilization, and we can be really reactive to the market. The next big thing that we really like to focus in on is running small batches of keywords per campaign. Now, this really depends on how much budget you're playing around with, but again, it's all about control. If I have 300 keywords in a campaign, I can't control which one of those keywords is getting the majority of my budget. Sometimes it's going to be the highest volume keyword, even if that's not necessarily the most profitable keyword. But if you break out your campaigns into smaller segments of keywords, you can control where that budget is going and control your performance in a much better fashion. Now, again, I mentioned it's dependent on your budget. Because if you have a budget of $1,000 a day on your campaign, you can put more keywords in there because you have enough budget to spread evenly across all those keywords. But if you have one campaign with 50 keywords, let's assume you need to get 10 clicks on all of those keywords to really have enough data to make a decision. And let's assume that you have a $1 bid on every single one of those keywords. Well, in order to get enough data to even optimize a bid, you're going to need to have $500 worth of spend. So think about that. 50 keywords, 10 clicks, $1 bid. You need $500 worth of spend to collect data. If this is in one campaign, you could either run $10 a day across 50 days or maybe a higher budget in a shorter time frame. But if you were to break these out into individual campaigns, again, you can set a lower budget and have more control. You can say, hey, campaign A is already doing well. It's returning a positive return and it's profitable. Let's scale it up. But campaign B, those keywords aren't doing as well. Let's scale it back while I'm optimizing and collecting data, right? Again, if I have a $10 a day budget and 500 keywords, it's not going to work well for me. If I have a $500 a day budget and 50 keywords, it's a much better setup because you have the right budget to keyword ratio. So the last thing I'm going to throw out there is match type control. I do think there's a lot of misconceptions around match types in this space, and that could be a whole nother post in itself. But in general, the biggest thing that we can really recommend here is to use the right match type for the right objective. If you want maximum control and only showing up precisely for the keyword you're targeting, run exact match. If you want to expand and find a lot more keywords and utilize broad match and phrase match for keyword harvesting, that's a really great route to make your keyword research evergreen. You just need to make sure you're harvesting out those keywords and putting them into broad match, phrase match, exact match. The only thing I would also recommend is your bid management should be correlated with your match types. If you're running in broad match, your conversion rate's usually a little bit lower because your targeting is a little bit more wide. So run lower bids. If it's exact match, you're typically really precise and you know the conversion rate formula that's needed to get a specific ROAS. So you can start with a little bit higher bids. I don't really see a huge benefit towards segmenting match types per campaign if you have bid management that's appropriately applying per phrase match, broad match, exact match. So, you can do either or. For maximum granularity, definitely segment out. But if you have good bid management and a good keyword harvesting strategy, you can probably commingle match types without running into any big issues. And the only reason I say this is we actually track our agency data for match type conversion rate and CPCs. And we don't see a huge difference in ROAS from broad match to exact match because, again, we're optimizing every bid towards a specific ROAS outcome. So lower bids for broad match, higher bids for exact match. They all three have almost the exact same ROAS. One of them just converts typically a little bit higher, and that's our exact match because it's proven, it's precise, and I know exactly what formula to apply to hit my outcome. So let me know if there's anything else you would recommend. We didn't even get into ad types or nomenclature, but I'll definitely throw some key indicators in my post for how we structure our nomenclature. And let me know if you need anything else. Thank you so much.